Neal, 7 points from 9. That's not bad for a team out of form, is it?
Yeah. Oh no, it does, honestly. Even within the camp at times, it feels like a crisis is looming, and then you kind of look up at the board and the results and you go, it's just because we set high standards earlier in the season, and we probably admit ourselves we haven't met them, but when you're in that sort of mode, you have to dig in, and that's what the boys are doing, really digging in.
What pleased you most about today then?
I think Yeovil are a really solid team. You look at the experience and the players I've got. Again, I thought we limited them to very little. I thought we limited Wildstone to very little, and in between we were a bit all over the shop. But we also carried a good threat, and we talked about when we was on our bad run as far as, we were trying to play out from the back, we didn't really earn the right to play. So we just talked about earning the right to play, and I thought we did that today. We won our battles, we earned the right, we were strong, and then when we got it in the right areas, we played and we caused them some problems.
You changed the way that you're playing a little bit as well, in the sense of getting that ball forward a lot more quickly.
Well, again, just going back to when we stripped back what was going wrong in the first half of all of them performances where we were a little bit all over the shop, we weren't earning the right to play. We were trying to play and we were too easy to snuffle out and keep quiet, and then we were getting caught open because of it. So we said, right, well, we'll earn the right to play, and that could be any way, but we've also got to play. We're not a scrapping and fighting team. Other teams are better than that than we are. We have to earn the right, and then we have to try and play, because when we play, we're good. And at spells today, we did it really well, and I think if you look at all the chances in the game, they mainly fell to us.
A couple of lovely goals.
Yeah, great goals. Obviously, you do need players to produce, from all over the pitch. And Jordan's got a lovely strike on him. He could have scored a 1v1 as well. And obviously, Reeves' free kick's magical.
I might have done him a disservice, I fear, in commentary, because I thought he might have flicked off of the wall, the free kick. Did it, or did it go straight in?
You'd have a better view than me. I've got no idea. We've got a free kick routine that we look at, and I thought we was going to work it because it looked like everyone was setting up for it, and then it looked like Reeves just decided to change his mind and do what he wanted. But from that distance, it's an unbelievable strike.
Yeah, no bad thing if it's even fooling the manager. Talk to me about confidence, because it feels like if you can't get confidence from 7 points out of 9 and a win like that and a clean sheet, then when will you? So hopefully that'll do the job, right?
It's not that easy. It isn't. That's what I try and say. I always take full responsibility for everything that goes on, but it's not just about management's not just about picking a team and picking a shape and picking tactics. And actually, where we are at the moment was nothing to do with any of that. All it needs is a little bit of shrinking between some of the group and that lack of trust, and before you know it, something that's really good can become non-existent. And that's where we got to a little bit. It can spread like the pandemic has. It spread around the group, that lack of confidence. But when you're in that mode, it's stupid of me as a manager to say, no, stand over there, play out from the back, keep doing something that's not working. We had a chat, we got together and we said, well, let's take some of the decision making away and let's try and get a run going, and then the confidence will come back. Now, is 7 points out of 9 a run? I don't think so. I'd like it to be over 5, 6, 8 games.
I noticed today that, particularly in the first half, I guess your nerves wouldn't let you in the second half, but in the first half, you were sat down a lot more. You were kind of not on the edge of your technical area as you sometimes are. Is that deliberate?
I think if I'm on the edge of the technical area, I can see the boys are struggling, and I need to get on there. I need to give them information. I need to try and help them. I need to try and correct something. If I'm sat down, it's because they're in a good place, and I actually looked for most of the game thinking the boys have got this. They're in a good place. They know what they're doing, and they're dealing with it, and they look confident, and they look like they're in a good place. So that's really it. I only stand up to try and help them.
When I chat to Stel and I say, well, you've got to play the same team twice in 4 days, that makes it more difficult, right, to get 6 points out of the 2 games, and he says, no, it'll be fine. What do you think? Not in no, it'll be fine that you'll just go there and roll them over, but that he says that playing the same team twice in 4 days has no bearing.
I don't really know. All I know is that throughout my career, Yeovil away has always been a really, really tough place to get a result, and more often than not, other than last season in the Cup, I've been beat there. And you have to go there with the right mentality. You have to go there and dig in. Obviously, our away form's been decent of late. We've just got to try and get some of the bodies back, and maybe it will be a case of on the day the freshest team, the team with the most energy will be the better team.
Talk to me a little about Ezio and the job that he's doing for you at right wing back. Why is he winning that battle between him and Dion at the moment?
Well, if you put 3 centre halves in the team, naturally you can say it becomes a bit more defensive. And I don't want to be defensive because we're not scoring enough goals, and we know that. And we've talked about the players we've lost that would score goals for us. So, if I go with Jordan Barnett and Dion in a home game, I'm going with 5 natural defenders, and there's not that 1v1 domination really there. So, Ezio's a really intelligent player. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. He understands his role regardless of where I play him. And his 1v1 defending is actually not bad, so he's athletic. So I want 1v1 domination on the pitch. I thought today we needed to be strong through the middle and a bit of know-how, and I thought Doyle, Reeves and Jim O'Brien were in there against the 4 in a diamond, and they won most of the battles, so delighted.
Yeah, I thought Jim played really well in that 10 role, didn't he? And because he's just got that kind of extra moment of, devilment to him at times.
Yeah, Jim. The thing Jim does well is he runs off the ball. And in first half he'll make runs. He knows he might not get it all the time, but he'll make runs. Whereas Ruben perhaps probably wants it a little bit more to feet and wants to play. So we've got options. It's great. I need to, like I said before, I can't keep picking the same team every week. It's impossible. And Alex Lacey today, his hamstrings are tight. I know he had the cut on his head, but is that a result of one too many games? And that's the problem. People wonder why you make changes, but you have to, otherwise you break people.
So Alex Lacey, when he came off, it was precautionary, or was hamstrings on?
Hamstrings were tight, and we don't. Sometimes you don't know if tight is fatigue or tight is he's got a slight strain. No one really knows. All we did was he didn't feel like he could sprint properly, so we just said let's make that decision. Ben's been chomping at the bit, so hopefully we've got the options.
Newspaper article caught my eye in the week from the South Coast when I saw that there was rumours about Michael Doyle being linked with Portsmouth and some sort of coaching role down there. Is there anything in that? Can you tell me anything?
It's a long way from his house. Doyle, I got a good relationship with Doyle. Doyle would pull me and say, oh, by the way, I've had this approach, and he hasn't. So as far as I'm concerned, it's newspaper reports unless he does, and I'm sure he would, because that's the relationship we got.
Carl Roberts, Lewis Knight, any close?
Yeah, well, Lewis Knight will be, because he's working on his fitness. It's just a case of, he's a young lad from the lower levels. We don't want to ask too much of him too soon. I'd rather bring him into a team playing well and winning. But you can just see he's had part-time training for most of the season, and you can just see the levels here are just that higher, and he's trying to, in training and everything. So there's no point in ruining him by throwing him in, and everyone says, well, why did we sign him? You need him to show what he can do, and that is he needs to be able to run repetitively hard, because that's what his strength is. So we'll get him there.
You sleep a little easier tonight?
I've been sleeping fine. I've said before, there's no pressure or noise that fans can make that will make me feel any worse when we lose a game. I'm an honest guy. I beat myself up regularly, and I know that this is just a win, and I know it's just 7 points out of 9. So I'll go home. I'll try and spend a bit of time with family and come back and go to work.